The story begins on planet Vegeta. Baby born much earlier because the energy radiating from his body would cause harm to his mother. He would happen to be in an incubation capsule. Something that shocked all the doctors was that this child's power was null. Something about the baby's hair would change to a purple color, which would destroy everything. What's supposed to be going on? His power's practically nil, but even though he doesn't release any power, he's wreaking havoc. We should definitely inform the King of Vegeta about this. It might be about this legendary Super Saiyan. Haha, don't say stupid things. The legendary Super Saiyan was so great he could destroy a planet, while his singular pressure was capable of making all the inhabitants fall to their knees. Of course I've heard those legends. Although at the end of the day, we might as well call them fairy tales. It doesn't matter, we have to report it. The doctors would report everything to King Vegeta. When he arrived to the incubation room, it would not take importance. The power of the baby was null. Unlike the power of Broly, a small baby that his power was on that occasion capable of surpassing the elite class. This is unforgivable. The only one that should be the legendary Super Saiyan is my son. I want that baby exterminated. But, my king, he may be the legendary Super Saiyan. You wouldn't want something better for him to be on our side? Because, with your help, our power will be increased in power. No. I've given the order to execute that baby. I can't allow a baby to be more powerful than me, much less our legendary Super Saiyan. Bardock, Kakarot's father, arrived from the missions, realizing Kakarot had been sent home in an incubator.
I don't know if you would arrive today. What do you think it would be for Kakarot? He was born earlier than planned, and since his energy hurts me, it was very different energy than that of Raditz, who was born with it, but the radar didn't detect his power. Bardock, with the help of his tracker, would try to measure Kakarot's power being null. Gine, we're a low-class warrior. It's normal that her son has zero power, since apparently he won't be a warrior like me. That doesn't matter, Bardock. Look! His hair is identical to yours. I already want to see how he grows and looks more and more like you.
Since I've arrived at my mission, I feel very bad, but he'd be interrupted by the incredible power, which despite the tracker not detecting any energy, a pressure would make them kneel. No matter the rank, even since the elite soldiers were around that place would fall to their knees. This incredible pressure would happen around 4 kilometers. What's going on? I haven't felt this pressure in my life. New enemy? Ugh, my body hurts. I can even feel my bones. Bardock would look up and see nothing, noticing Kakarot's hair would change to purple, while every incubator was cracking because of the power he was releasing. Bardock was surprised by the energy his son gave off. Kakarot, you're a boy, but please calm down. If you continue to release this pressure, you'll end our lives. A much higher pressure was able to fall on the planet Vegeta and would fade away after 5 seconds, but in those 5 seconds, all the inhabitants of the planet felt like death was coming. Kakarot's hair would return to normal, and the pressure would stop. Bardock, in a little pain, would stand, and the inhabitants who were not warrior class would be out of combat. Wow, I can't believe my son can release that pressure. Why is he able to keep this power at 0, though? It's a new power that, even for our trackers, is untraceable? I don't understand what's happening. On the planet far away from the Universe 7, the energy of a baby Kakarot was perceived by Whis. The energy of the god of destruction Beerus, and his energy was released, not being able to be felt by any mortal who could understand the divine energy. Only beings understanding this energy could feel the power of Kakarot being released. Well, this event is 1 in a million, a Saiyan born with divine energy. Since it is the 18 universes who created the 3 warriors able to be born with divine energy, without saying the feats have been able to be achieved, this Saiyan baby has that of a 4th warrior. Whis would start walking over the planet of God Beerus, without warning, realizing that God was resting on the planet of Vegeta with the Saiyans. Arriving a few minutes, specifically at Kakarot's house, the power of the god of destruction was seen. Bardock would notice the pressure of Whis because he would help Gine lie down in the room to rest, recovering from the pressure that Kakarot had released. I feel proud, but at the same time confused. I don't understand Kakarot being born with that power. He was the savior of the entire race. His power would be on another level. Bardock, returning to the incubator, would observe Whis, who was watching Kakarot. I don't know who the hell you are, but you better stay away from my son's incubator if you don't want to get hurt. Whis, without paying the slightest attention, would continue to observe Kakarot. Bardock, angry, this time would throw caution to the wind and against Whis. But the outcome was obvious, since Whis, without taking his eyes off Kakarot, would stop Bardock's blow with his fingers because he would return to observe. I have no plans to do anything with this baby. I just want to observe him and understand how he could be born with the energy beyond the gods of destruction. Bardock would be surprised, not by the fact that Whis stopped his blow, but by what he said. What'd you say? What do you mean by the energy of the god of destruction?
I introduce myself. I'm Whis, the angel of the god Beerus. I'm sure you've seen us around planet Vegeta on multiple occasions, since we do come recurrently.
Bardock would remember Beerus giving him reverence each time the purple-skinned guy would appear in front of him on the planet, as he was able to humiliate King Vegeta completely. But if you're the warriors who are capable of bending Frieza...
The power of Frieza is a child. It's trying to be compared to an adult to a baby. Although Frieza does have great power, it doesn't compare with a baby who already has divine energy. The difference in their powers is incomparable.
And does that mean Kakarot's now already more powerful than Frieza?
Correct, but in the same way, although his power is much more powerful than that of Frieza's, Frieza is able to annihilate him with some difficulty. He has experience on the battlefield. Kakarot can't protect himself.
Sure, I understand. I apologize for hitting you. I thought you wanted to do something bad to my son. I plan to send him to planet Earth since that Frieza wants to destroy our planet.
It surprises me how your senses are sharper than any other Saiyans. I, being a divine being, affirm that you, to Frieza, would destroy this planet in the next 2 days. What you will do with your wife and son will come with me. I can make sure that they will be more powerful, and I'm the only one in the universe for Kakarot to be able to master that energy.
I appreciate it, and of course, we'll be eternally grateful.
Don't worry, I'm sure Kakarot will be a great opponent for Mr. Beerus, so much so that I'm sure he will even be able to defeat him.
Whis with his staff would make him, Gine, get a full recovery, and he was in shock.
Bardock, what's going on? Who is he?
Gine, I don't want you to be scared. We'll leave with him. Apparently Frieza's planning to destroy our planet, and Kakarot's been able to be born with the energy of the gods of destruction. He's going to be our teacher of our son.
What? I don't understand all this. I hadn't the slightest idea that the gods, much less Kakarot, would be born with the energy beyond the gods. For that reason, Kakarot's power is to destroy everything inside her, since a mortal is not carrying this capable of being a powerful warrior like Kakarot is. I appreciate you. At this moment, we're gonna leave with you.
King Vegeta's palace would be immediately sending an order to eradicate the Saiyan Broly, because the incredible pressure would be felt all over the planet Vegeta, making him bend. I can't allow a simple baby to do more powerful than me. I can't allow this. I want them to end his life. Only my dear Vegeta could be the legendary Super Saiyan. I won't allow anyone to take his place. Multiple warriors after the Paragus would be on Broly, but Paragus, with the help of his ship, would be able to leave the planet with the intention of saving his son. You will be able to throw us as if you're simple garbage, and I swear I won't forget about that damn King Vegeta. I want your head on my throne. On the planet Beerus, everyone arrived, and on this occasion, Whis, with his power, was able to create a resistant incubator, because the incubator wasn't able to contain the energy of the God of Destruction, and thanks to this, it didn't matter if Kakarot released his power to the Ultra Ego. He couldn't crack it, much less wreak havoc all over the place. In that case, Kakarot finishes growing for about 2 months, and I'll take care of his training. Make sure to increase his power, because you, as Kakarot's father, must possess great power. I appreciate that, and of course I'll do my best. I have to become more powerful, and I know I can do it. In that case, it'd be better to start right now, since we will have the power beyond the god, or what I could try, since it is that the Saiyans know no limits. I want to check that. For me, it'd be a pleasure to be your experiment. I am able to become more powerful and protect my family, so whatever you want. Whis, with his staff, would drop a slight pressure, being similar to Frieza's max power. Bardock would fall to the ground on his knees, but despite this, he would resist. Kakarot's incredible pressure was able to crush him completely. If I compare this pressure to Kakarot's, it's nothing. I have to be able to stay normal under this pressure. Bardock, with his will and every last drop of his energy could stand, his legs were shaking. Whis would stop releasing all the pressure, and Bardock would fall to the ground, while a little blood was coming out of his mouth. Don't worry, that pressure I am able to exert with my staff is even able to heal each of your bones. At the end of it, you should not be afraid of dying, but that you would be in your training, you will feel like your body is destroyed. Doesn't interest me. I'm sure my body's capable of withstanding this and much more, since even you have said we Saiyans don't have limits. Something surprising felt over the planet. A great power would be able to be felt, and even an incubator that Whis had created started to crack. Kakarot would open his eyes a little, and because of this, a bigger power would be released over the planet of Beerus, as his incubator would be destroyed. This is amazing! He keeps unleashing all that power, he could interrupt Mr. Beerus' sleep, and I'm sure that would piss him off enough to even exterminate everyone present. Whis, with the help of his staff, would create a powerful barrier, which would contain the power of the god 40% of his power. The power of Kakarot was great, and he hadn't been able to cause any scratches to said barrier. I am surprised at the power your son's showing. I'm sure that he'd be able to surpass 3 subjects born beyond the power of the gods. What are the other warriors like Kakarot? Or are they able to help him? The only thing I can tell you is that the feats they have achieved are feats that won't be broken unless the power of Kakarot surpasses them. Whis would watch as Kakarot would calm down while the barrier would act as a new incubator. Bardock would continue with training under the teachings of Whis, and being a powerful angel would require power to turn Bardock to a powerful warrior. It had been 4 years since they got on planet Beerus. Bardock had achieved Super Saiyan Phase 3, beginning to master the essence of the gods. I appreciate it, Whis. If it hadn't been for you, I'd be able to get this power. I'm indebted to you. Don't worry. To be honest, after the last few years have been entertaining for me, since, as you can tell, Mr. Beerus has taken long naps because I often tend to be bored. Although, Whis, I want to check the power of Kakarot. He's 4 years old and he still hasn't required the age for training, but 1 more year and he'll start with your training. I agree, Bardock. 1 more year before Kakarot will join our training. Instantly, the staff of Whis would glow, hinting that something would happen to the Emperor of Evil, Frieza. Bardock was about 2 years, had asked him in favor to let him know if Frieza was able to mess with his son Raditz. Bardock, Frieza was able to finish the last warriors of the Saiyan race. Since it's been ambushed by Frieza's planet, 3 Saiyans, Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz, are in terrible conditions. Bardock, you gotta help him! Even though we hadn't contacted Raditz, it's still our son, and you currently have the power to defeat Frieza. Whis, I'm asking you, please, take me to that place. I want to end his life. I'll never forgive him for destroying our planet. Don't worry, Bardock. This will be interesting. Whis and Bardock went to Frieza's planet. When they got there, they realized this place was a battlefield. Saiyans tried to do everything, but it was impossible for them to do anything against Frieza's special forces. So they would see 3 Saiyans on the verge of death, while Frieza smiled like a maniac. Ho! I have eliminated all the monkeys. Although they served me more alive, I'm afraid that they would turn against me. My Lord Frieza, do you want me to finish them once and for all? Of course not, soldier. Let them suffer. I want them to know the one who destroyed Vegeta. Since it was not a meteorite, I myself ended the planet that existed, you damn monkeys. No, damn. I always thought that you wanted to say goodbye to my parents. I knew I had a younger brother. Damn it! That look on your face. It will be nothing to do with anything since they don't have the power to support us. At the moment, an amazing power would be able to make Frieza tremble. The trackers exploded, and the power exceeded that of 30,000 power units. In the shadows, it could be observed Bardock approaching the warriors. At this moment, I'm planning to finish you, Frieza. You better get ready. I have the power to defeat you. I must admit you have incredible power. Even exceed 30,000 units. You won't be able to do anything against me since I in my second form could exceed 1,000,000 power. Soldiers, finish him. The elite special forces of Frieza rushed Bardock. Without any effort, he was able to finish these warriors, with only Frieza watching him. So, as I said, transform. I don't want you to access your second form. I won't let you release your power again. If you give me battle, access your max power, because I am the one that you've been so afraid of. Bardock and Frieza were able to fight. Whis with his staff would heal into the Saiyans, who were surprised to realize Bardock with his power could finish off Frieza's elite forces. What? Does my father have that power? That's crazy! I agree with you, Raditz. Bardock was always considered a low-class soldier. I don't even know how he could get such power. Nappa observed everything while it happened, and at the moment, chill would run through his body. Frieza on this occasion began to access his last transformation. With things trembling, a great light, Frieza would be observed in his last form.
I hope you're ready to die, monkey. You screwed up my show. I want these good-for-nothing monkeys to see that you will entertain me a little.
I'm the one who will agonize someone else. I'll humiliate you in the worst way. Frieza, irritated by the arrogance of the Saiyan, with great speed headed towards him. Bardock, despite seeing every one of his movements, would not move from the place, so an incredible blow hit Bardock's entire face, generating great destruction. The dust and smoke dissipated, and it would be seen how Frieza's fist wouldn't be able to move Bardock. What happened? Is that power of the so-called Emperor of Evils this that you're displaying? Let me show you some real power. Frieza would instantly make a chill run through his body, but before he could react, Bardock's fist embedded in his stomach, destroying everything around him because the power of that fist, Frieza was sent to the dust. Would try to stand up, but that blow of damage was caused that was incomparable. The Emperor of Evil would spit large amounts of blood. I can't believe what I'm seeing. If I'm not able to see this with my own eyes, I wouldn't assimilate it. We joined the forces that couldn't do anything against Frieza Elite. Father, you always had that power? I really can't be considered low class since you're above the elite soldiers. What's wrong, Frieza? I tried to restrain myself so I could see the power of the Super Saiyan that you were afraid of. Bardock, clenching his fist, would raise his power in a great way. The planet shook, and all of Bardock's hair would turn golden color, making everyone present surprised by the incredible power that was released. This is the legendary Super Saiyan that you are afraid of. Right now, I'll show you the power of the legend that you were afraid of. Bardock, with a quick movement, would make his fist into Frieza's chest. Holding his heart, Frieza would spit blood and would only see the Saiyan's gaze.
Please spare my life. I promise I'll leave and never see me again.
Bardock would take his hand out of his chest while Frieza would fall to the ground bleeding out. Frieza would call for help while Bardock would turn. I want you to give me a show. I want to see how you hold on to life. Frieza would remember those same words he said to the three Saiyans. Raditz had too many questions because he thought his father had died.
Father, how can you have all this power? I never thought you would have this hidden power. Train us, please. I want to become more powerful.
No, I can't train you until you're able to cleanse and purify that evil that exists in your hearts. So long as there's evil, I don't want anything to do with it. You must improve and not stay conquering planets. Bardock, without waiting for his answer, would leave to the planet of Whis and Beerus, in which Bardock would continue his training, accessing new levels.
Wow, Bardock, I'm surprised in the last year you could get to Super Saiyan 4. Although you didn't master the divine energy, this mortal power is incredible. I would dare to tell him that the max power you could get would be able to make Lord Beerus use 11% of his.
Wow, definitely the power of Beerus is on another level. I know one day I'll be able to get closer to that power. But Whis, it's time to start training Kakarot, since he possesses the proper understanding.
It's what I've been longing for, so we'll start this instant.
Gine would take Kakarot along with Bardock and Whis.
My little one, from today you will start with your training, and together with your father and this angel, I hope that you can do the best yourself so that you can become more powerful. Of course, Mother. I've always longed to train with Dad and Whis. Together, I'm going to be a powerful Saiyan.
In that case, we'll start with understanding the divine energy. Since it's a vein that will start with mortal energy, his mortal energy will be almost nil. Goku, despite being a child, would begin to meditate and feel his energy veins with his colossal power. The divine energy was hundreds of times higher than the mortal one, and the balance of the mortal energy and divine energy would destroy it completely. I'm surprised by his ability to meditate. Being only 5 years old, he's able to understand that I wanted to teach him. He will be a great warrior. I don't know why, but my body's burning with enthusiasm. I want to see his limit. Although I doubt I have a limit, because an ordinary Saiyan has none, I don't want to imagine the power Kakarot's able to reach. With his level of learning, I'm sure that in a year he'll be able to surpass his power in a much shorter time. Kakarot, despite being a child, would continue meditating for 3 weeks, and his energy veins as well as the flow of the Ultra Ego would combine with his body. Kakarot would open his eyes and an amazing pressure would release on the planet, while Kakarot's hair and eyes would turn red. Wow, what is that transformation? I'm not able to feel the power in the slightest. This means Kakarot's able to completely have the essence of a god.
Wow, I'm surprised you could master the essence of a god in less than a month, although it was to be expected since you are born with that power. I feel my body's extremely light. Whis, Dad, I never knew this training in the battlefield. I've always wanted to train. Let me have a friendly battle with you, Dad. No, definitely not. You've been training for 1 month. If you face your dad, who's been training for 5 years, it'd be madness. In fact, I don't see it as a bad idea. Saiyans become more powerful thanks to battles, and facing your father, I know you won't attack him with the intention of ending his life. It's perfect training.
If he's saying that, of course we'll train my son.
Heh, thanks, Dad. I promise I'll try my best and not let you down.
Don't worry. Since the day of your birth, I'm completely proud of you. Don't worry. Show me everything you got. Whis would create a barrier around the Beerus castle, and the fight wouldn't be able to wake him up. So the warriors started walking. I'll only use my base state. I doubt Kakarot's power's risen in a great way that short. Kakarot, without warning, would appear a few centimeters from his father's face, trying to connect a blow. Bardock would dodge this with enormous difficulty because Kakarot's speed was amazing. Bardock would try to take distance, but Kakarot already was on the side of Bardock. Because of this, both warriors exchanged hundreds of blows all over the place. But Bardock was beginning to be overcome by Kakarot's power.
Father, you better use more power, because if you only fight at your base state, this will be boring.
Well, if you want me to use more power, I hope you don't regret it. I plan on not holding back. This is the power of the Super Saiyan. Bardock would access Super Saiyan, pouncing against Kakarot. Kakarot, moving his neck to the side, could dodge his father's blow, connecting an incredible knee on his stomach, and due to the speed of Bardock approaching, vomited too much blood over the battlefield. Everyone was surprised.
Wow, Kakarot's training is amazing. He's been able to push Bardock in check. I doesn't matter that he trained 5 years. The energies are incomparable.
That hurt! But what can you do now?
Bardock, being a few centimeters away, would throw thousands of blows. Kakarot would see these movements. Noticed by Bardock, with a big smile, would release more power, making the planet of Beerus shake, since Bardock was expelling great power.
The incredible power of Bardock was able to shake the planet of Beerus. The barrier that Whis placed, Beerus wasn't able to feel the energy of the planet. Warriors were out of danger. Bardock would release his power, and his hair would grow. Instantly, the great light, Bardock's new appearance, would be seen. This time, Bardock was able to access Super Saiyan 3, leaving Kakarot surprised.
Wow, your power's amazing! I doubt that you'll be able to face me, Father. Although you and your master Whis didn't allow me to train, I was able to analyze his combat style, and I'm able to dodge every one of your father's blows.
This is an amazing thing, Kakarot. You'll never be able to beat me if you've only been able to study my combat style, because on the battlefield, even a millisecond of reaction could save your life. And I mean this. Bardock would flash, being able to appear centimeters from Kakarot. That moment he was able to speak, he was surprised to realize there was no one in that place. Kakarot would put his hand on his father's back. Even though it looks stupid, I've been able to analyze your combat style with 99% credibility. You can't catch me off guard. Bardock would be irritated, rushing Kakarot, and both would exchange thousands of blows. Those that Kakarot was able to dodge, he could receive them with incredible defense, not letting him give him damage, so Kakarot would expel a little of his power. He was able to overshadow Bardock's aura completely, and even though Bardock's power was incredible, it didn't compare to that of a god. The great pressure was able to make him fall to the ground as if the gravity was falling on his body. What's this? I can't even move in the slightest. My body weighs so much. Is this the power of a god? The power in which my son's been able to be born, I can't stay behind him. Bardock, in spite of the pressure, would stand, spitting out blood. You've been able to study me completely, my fighting style and skills. But what you'll never be able to study is the resistance of the Saiyan body. Bardock would clench his fists with great power while his whole body would be filled with fur, and the power would skyrocket. Wow, this is amazing! I never thought Kakarot was able to force Bardock to use Super Saiyan 4. It's the maximum power of Bardock. It amazes me Kakarot as a child was able to meditate and master the energy that lies inside. A huge explosion from Bardock from Super Saiyan 4 would be seen. Wow, that's amazing! I thought you'd only be able to do the Ozaru-style transformation. You are my father! You should have this transformation. What'd you say? You mean to have the transformation like this? You couldn't get this transformation without the other variants.
Of course you can, Father. I don't know if mine or the other transformation, but it is similar to me, so look at the power I was able to get.
Kakarot would surround himself with a red aura, and everything would tremble in a brutal way that Bardock with his fur was able to turn over Kakarot's body. After a few minutes, it was possible to observe this new appearance, and his fur was pink, because the energy of the Ultra Ego was combined with that state. Kakarot, in that transformation, possessed the energy of a god of destruction.
How was he able to do that? He was able to combine the transformation of Super Saiyan 4 that he was born with. But how was he able to do that? Whis, I don't understand. What's Kakarot good or bad? Since being a child, his whole body could explode from the excess energy, or am I wrong?
Of course you're wrong, Gine, because what Kakarot just achieved means his power can go beyond a mere mortal. And because of that, he's been able to adopt a new transformation that his body dominates.
Are you trying to tell me Kakarot's power can adapt the new transformation since it needed to evolve?
That is correct, but I'm surprised that he could only have that being only 5 years old. The power that Kakarot has awakened is unparalleled. Apparently that state Kakarot possesses is more powerful than mine. I don't have plans to give up. I'll use all my power.
Father, I'm ready. Attack me. Use your power, because not having this transformation, I can't contain myself.
You better not hold back. I'm sure that I can cause great harm, so you better be prepared, Kakarot. Kakarot's arm was touching Bardock's chest, which he wasn't able to see because Kakarot moved where he was. Damn, what kind of speed is that? If it had been because he touched my chest, I wouldn't have realized I reached as far as me. Kakarot would take a little distance while raising his power to the limit his body could withstand without compromising a speed loss.
Heh, this will be interesting. I already want to see with my master's training. I want to see to face Mr. Beerus.
Kakarot would stretch out one of his hands, stopping Bardock's blow. Bardock was throwing hundreds of blows, spheres of energy, kicks, but nothing was effective. Because Kakarot's power surpassed him abysmally. While Kakarot could see his father's blows, unlike Bardock, he couldn't see Kakarot was able to dodge his blows, and Bardock would recoil. Hell, I believe all the power's been able to increase with that transformation. I have to be able to do something. Bardock sent flying towards Kakarot. Kakarot, with more overwhelming speed, would connect slightly a blow to his neck. But even though he restrained himself, it sent him flying to the planet, destroying everything. While Bardock would lose status as Super Saiyan 4, injured, expelling blood.
Hell no, I haven't been able to contain myself. I'm sorry, Father. I promised you'd try to contain as much as I could, but it turned out to be impossible.
Don't worry, son. I confess that the power you possess is amazing. But I never thought my son would have so much. Bardock would be knocked out, but with the help of Whis, he put him in a recovery pod.
Whis, I noticed that you were able to heal my father with the help of your staff. Why don't you heal him with your staff this time?
Oh, I can tell you are very observant. In this capsule, you'll be able to inject a little divine energy, and due to the wounds your father has, this divine water will be able to penetrate his being.
Oh, okay. That means that he's able to recover and able to assimilate the divine energy.
You are very intelligent. But despite your young age, I can see that you, like Kakarot, are good at training and guidance, will be able to overcome Mr. Beerus.
Heh, I appreciate it. I'm sure I can excel all your expectations. I won't let anyone be more powerful than me. I'll make sure of it.
I don't doubt that, since you being here are the two most powerful energies of this vast universe. That's right, in this universe, millions of years ago, they were afraid of the Saiyan gods because the power seemed to have no limits. Because of this, their divine energy was sealed. All the Saiyans remained mortals with great powers, but Kakarot, being a baby, had been born to the power that belonged to those Saiyan gods. Many of them were born with Ultra Ego or Instinct.
Whis, when can we start training? I want to be more powerful, and I know I can do it.
You train with patience first, because if you continue with that instinct, we'll start training when you're 7. Kakarot would keep silent in his base state. On Earth, having not arrived Kakarot, Piccolo Daikmaku would arrive as the new ruler, wiping out the entire human race almost completely until 3 ships arrived. Well, so this is Earth. We must cleanse the evil from our hearts. I, the Prince of the Saiyans, know because thanks to becoming more powerful, we'll be on par with Bardock. I agree with you, Prince Vegeta. Well, I promise I'll cleanse my heart of evil that lies in, because I want to become more powerful.
but I keep thinking that my father's able to survive the explosion of Vegeta. This is amazing.
But the trio of warriors would be interrupted by the Emperor of the planet Earth. Now, I don't know who the hell you guys are, but you better do as I command, otherwise I'll finish you off in one fell swoop. Huh, how pathetic. You being of another race superior to Earthlings doesn't mean you're superior to us. At this moment, we're gonna end you so that planet Earth continues to thrive. Piccolo wasn't able to say anything. Vegeta's fist would pierce him, causing blood to spread over the place. Ha! I thought you were more powerful of a warrior. You're just a worm. Vegeta would open his hand, making Piccolo explode into hundreds of pieces, and the planet Earth was starting to rebuild everything that Piccolo destroyed. On the planet of Beerus, Kakarot would be training with Whis, while Bardock was meditating in order to control the divine energy. I must control the divine energy. In this method, I can become more powerful. Kakarot, despite possessing the power of the Ultra Ego to travel through his body, he didn't have enough power against Whis. Throughout the multiverse, certain warriors were watching the advance of Kakarot. The power of that child's incredible. He's able to compare himself to the Supreme God at his max power. Currently, only Beerus, the former leader of the Supreme Gods, will be able to keep him aside, as his power grows measurably.
I agree with you, although we must take account that he's a child being born with the power of a god, which is something incredible that has happened in the kingdom of Zeno-sama, since this multiverse doesn't have a required level.
A guy with horns on a throne said nothing. Going back to Kakarot's training, one, despite using all the techniques, wasn't able to give a blow to Whis. Enough! Kakarot, you will train in an ultimate dimension on the sacred staff. You'll merge completely with the Ultra Ego, and when you're able to use your power, you'll grow incredibly.
In that case, I'm leaving for that dimension, Whis. Father, when I return, I want to have a confrontation again, as I feel your power's increased greatly.
When you come back, I'll master the essence of a god, and this time I'll be able to measure myself to you.
Please, Kakarot, just take care of yourself. Of course, Mom. Don't worry. We'll do all this with something, since it will be able to give us the best battle for the life of Mr. Beerus.
I'm sure Mr. Beerus will get a surprise, but Kakarot, it's time. This dimension will most likely be that his body will completely develop, and since an adult body is capable of storing more energy, good luck.
Heh, I understand. Don't worry. I'm ready for anything.
Kakarot would enter, in which, when he entered, he felt his whole body have great pressure. While his body would grow, the dimension was the dimension of training a guardian angel. This level required was demanding, since no one except Beerus, the leader of the Supreme Gods, had been able to withstand it. I'm sure Kakarot can master that pressure. I want to know what my father's reaction will be when he learns there's another being that overcomes the power of a king. Returning to the dimension, after a few hours in which Kakarot had suffered an agonizing pain, almost close to death, he would stand up and realize his body had evolved. Since he was the adult version of it, a great power ran through his interior. I'm ready to master the energy of a god completely. I know I can beat Mr. Beerus. Kakarot would begin his rigorous training in order to surpass the leader of the Supreme Gods. Kakarot in this dimension would begin rigorous training. Though no one was watching, he was always on the verge of death. The Saiyans were able to become more powerful after great wounds on the battlefield. Kakarot knew this, so he would get more power to train as well as generate great damage, simulating real battles. I gotta be able to master all my power. I don't need any ordinary Super Saiyan transformations. Whis recommended to me to be able to master them. I don't know why, but I will. Kakarot would continue his training, which on this occasion not only depended on physical training, since he did meditate and in extreme environments, so his body would get used to the gravity while meditating. On the other hand, and outside of the dimension, Whis, in the same way, would train Bardock. Although he'd been able to achieve overwhelming power against all mortals, gods were simple just worms, since the divine immortal energy had abysmal difference. I'm still surprised. I didn't know how Kakarot's been able to be born with the energy beyond a god of destruction. If even you are his father, it is difficult for him to master the essence of a god. Damn it, Whis. Even if it doesn't look like it, it's frustrating. Despite this, I know I could do it because I would have never imagined to achieve this. I know I'll be able to do it without any difficulty. Those are the words I like to hear. So I don't agree with warriors who give up. They are right that several warriors are able to be born with a greater talent, but if a lower class warrior tries hard, he is able to overcome it. I agree. Keep training with me. Of course, Bardock, but this time no longer fight against me. Even if I decrease my power to the lowest, it won't be a match. I have decided that this warrior will be his opponent. A great light of his staff and Whis when an ordinary warrior would appear in front of all. Ha! Don't make me laugh. This guy's a human. I'm sure he doesn't even have a divine energy. I could knock him out in one swoop. Bardock, if you don't underestimate him, I'm sure he'll surprise you because he is a human, but the power he's able to get made him the king of all humans in an alternate line. Bardock, surprised, would try to clarify this part. Nice to see him again, Whis-sama, after so long. Apparently he wants me to face this warrior, and he's got great power, but he won't be able to do anything against me. The power differences aren't equal. Bardock, a little annoyed, would pounce on this guy, and his fist would be stopped by a single finger. I hadn't finished talking. It's rude. That's the only reason I accept this match, to be able to grant you some good manners. Ho ho ho! So we'll witness a battle between the human Etrion and the Saiyan Bardock, the humans who are able to take over the divine energy and the most powerful Saiyan of all mortals. What? How's it possible a human's able to get this divine energy? I can't believe it. His pressure isn't even threatening. Bardock instantly would watch as everything would change, and the power of this warrior, the moment Etrion had released a little of his pressure, was able to form a silhouette of death releasing back to the warrior. I hope you're ready. If you try to hit me, you'll have great power to back you up. Bardock, feeling the pressure of the warrior, fell on his body. He'd quickly access Super Saiyan 3 maximum power, generating devastations around the place. I'm not interested in getting you to master the energy of a god. I'm a Saiyan. I have no plans to lose, so get ready, worm. Etrion, without a word, would displace his aura in the form of shadows. Being able to hit him millions of times, Bardock, although he had his best effort to try to get away from the blows of his enemy, wasn't able to see anything. Bardock would be sent flying, causing a slight explosion. I don't get why warriors as weak as you always try to raise your power to limit and generate explosions. That only decreases the energy reserves. Just as I supposed, the difference in powers is amazing. No matter what Bardock tries, Etrium's power surpasses him tens of times. Bardock would stand with blood going out of his body. Even though Bardock didn't have divine energy, his body was resistant in the universe simply because he was of a warrior race. But the exchange of blows, Bardock disappointed himself. He wasn't able to connect any of his blows, and Etrium seemed to be playing with him. Behind you! Aren't you able to see my movements? You're a worm. I thought you'd be more powerful. I shouldn't have expected that of you. You think it was more powerful? Huh? Expectations? Don't piss me off, you good-for-nothing bug. I'll show you all my power. Bardock would instantly access Super Saiyan 4, but this time it was different. Due to the anger he felt, his power was able to release more, and from a great energy of explosion, it was possible to observe Bardock in Super Saiyan 4. This is all my power. I hope you're ready. I won't have any mercy on you. Mercy? Don't be crazy. I don't talk mercy, because even if there was 1,000 guys like you, you wouldn't be able to give me a scratch. The guy did what he wanted to at Bardock for losing his temper. Despite possessing divine energy, he was not a warrior. He had the advantage, not by much, for which it was the advantage which Bardock fights without any strategy, and he was getting it, since Bardock's attack was pouncing with more anger, which made him weaker in some points. Even Whis and Guinea had noticed.
That's not usual, Bardock. I'm not even a warrior, but I can notice his movements he's making. She's leaving a lot of weak points.
You are correct, Miss Guinea. Although I'm surprised you're able to notice these points. Etrium is only cornering him psychologically. In the difference of powers, though, the divine immortal energy differs brutally. Etrium's not a warrior, and is not able to store so much energy. Kakarot's dimension, 6 months passed, and Kakarot was able to master various Super Saiyans. Although they weren't transformations that interested him, he was able to unlock a new level. Since accessing the Ultra Ego, the state with which he was able to be born, his body was much greater power was able to travel.
What's this feeling? I feel like a great power is inside me, but I'm only able to control it completely. Could it be the fruit of my training? I don't know, since I only focused on mastering the transformations of a Super Saiyan.
Kakarot would try to access the new latent power inside him. It was impossible since he didn't have the proper training to access it. Apparently with that power, I've got to be more powerful. Of course I could do it, but I'm still confused. Where'd all that power come from? Kakarot, without giving it too much importance, would begin to train physically as mentally. What Kakarot didn't know was that power was the variance of the Ultra Ego, and for that reason, Whis gave him a task of mastering the variance of the Super Saiyan, so when his body could adapt. Returning to the battlefield, Bardock began to receive a beating, since this time his power decreased, and due to this, Etrian was able to change his combat already for what was happening to defend his counterattack. Etrian was holding Bardock by the hair, nailing him in the base of the planet. Well, apparently it's been the end of a fight, since Bardock seems to have mastered his emotions in a better way. Whis was about to end the combat. A large sphere of energy was directed towards Bardock. Whis was about to interfere with his staff. He would stop, feeling a great energy from the crater, while Gine would scream, Whis, why would you help Bardock? It's not a workout. That energy sphere would end his life. Whis. Gine, in all this time I have held great affection for you. Don't worry, as I won't allow Mr. Bardock to die, but observe. From the crater, a great light would observe all over the place. Incredible energy was seen. Gine was surprised as she would notice Bardock's appearance had changed. His hair silver, and his gaze was able to be the most powerful warriors of Universe 7 tremble, not counting Beerus. I don't know what power runs through my body, but I'm sure with this new power I could defeat you, and I must thank you, because with you I access this new level. I don't say stupid things. It's correct the divine energy is currently lying in your body, but you can't master it, since you only let yourself be carried away by emotions. But something changed in Bardock. The words that Etrian said to him would be nothing. Bardock would flash and was able to connect a simple blow in the stomach. And though it looked ordinary, it wasn't. The damage he created was serious. Etrian, despite making every effort to stand up, was impossible, and the ground around him was muddied with blood. No, damn it! How could he cause me so much damage with one punch? This can't be true. I'm a human who mastered the essence of a god. Etrian would get back on his feet while staring intently at Bardock with great anger, would pounce on him. But Bardock would access Ultra Instinct and was able to dodge each one of his blows, while Bardock would connect a few blows, generating great damage. Well, I didn't expect this. Bardock hasn't been able to master the essence of a god, but since he was able to access the Ultra Instinct, definitely this family loves to skip the process, since even Kakarot was born with the power of a god. What's happened to Bardock? How are you able to get that new power? And how is he able to master it? Since I understand that it is divine power. Really, I don't have the answer, because it's not able to concentrate all his emotions and channel his power. Accessing this state is impossible. No, I don't plan to lose. This attack, I'll use all my power. Etrian would begin to channel his power in the palm of his hand, while great rumbles were generated. Don't you think that it was pathetic that warriors generate devastation? This time, you're the pathetic one you just talked about. I won't let you get away with it. On this planet, it'll be your grave. A great attack from Etrian began to attack Bardock. Without flinching, charge a small sphere of energy, but at the moment of collision, both attacks would be evenly matched. Everything was a farce because Bardock at that moment would smile. I hope you didn't think that was all my power. Bardock would expel more power, destroying Etrian's attack, but before he was reached, it would give way to an attack, being able to evaporate all over the place. A big explosion was formed all over the planet of Beerus. I'm surprised at the power that Bardock has achieved, but that attack you tried to end the life of your opponent. The only thing I've done is return the favor, since he's trying to end my life. The two were chatting. Whis would start to sound. That's right, Kakarot's training had come to an end, being able to leave that dimension, being able to feel extreme power. Well, I thought it would take longer, but apparently they are all both prodigies. This will be interesting for when Mr. Beerus wakes up. Instantly, the planet of the God of Destruction began to tremble, since Kakarot's power being so great was able to seep through the energy barriers, which had annoyed Beerus, releasing all his power at once, destroying everything around him, making the entire Universe 7 shudder. Father, I didn't know what kind of transformation that is, but if we have a great battle against the God of Destruction, Beerus? It would be the greatest honor to have battle such God, and much more next to my son. The power of both warriors in the same way was beginning to increase to divine levels of great scales. An incredible power of the most powerful god of the 12 gods would become present in Universe 7. Although Bardock along with Kakarot released their power, the pressure released by Beerus was madness. Whis would take the alternative by creating a great barrier in Universe 7, and that battle that was about to occur was apocalyptic. Well, on a very few occasions I could see Mr. Beerus upset. This is because he wanted to feel Kakarot's energy. In the entire course of the Battle of Bardock, Beerus has not woken up. I don't care who you are, but at this moment I'm going to finish each and every one of you. You've interrupted my sleep. Now, die! Beerus had a flashing speed, which even for Kakarot and Bardock was able to observe. Beerus couldn't connect a blow to each of them. Bardock's body, despite moving on its own accord, had not been able to dodge the blow and was flying with great power over the planet. Without ending the attack, Beerus would throw hundreds of spheres against them, who would not have enough time to recover. Thousands of attacks began to head towards them. No, damn it! Galactic Atomizer! A great attack would be thrown, being able to repel most of the spheres. Kakarot instantly from Beerus' blind spot would try to connect a blow. Beerus, with incredible dexterity, would dodge, holding him by the neck, dragging him over the planet and destroying everything. Bardock, seeing this, would likewise pounce against Beerus, but it was useless. Bardock, despite using his speed, wasn't able to reach, and Beerus would stop instantly, holding Bardock by the neck. I don't know what the two Saiyans are supposed to do on my planet, but the power they have is crap. They aren't able to entertain me. In this case, will end their lives being able to calm me down just a little. Beerus with one blow sent them flying, carrying a large sphere of destruction. I can't believe you have this power. It's not matter what kind of power you have, you won't be able to end our life so easy. If you want to take our life, you're going to have to be more powerful, since we're the most powerful race of the universe. Bardock, with Kakarot in the same way, would channel a great power in the palm of their hands. Instantly, both sides launched their respective attacks, colliding with a very even way. But the destruction that was generated was of another level.
That's amazing! The true power of the god Beerus!
Of course not, Guinea, you're mistaken. Mr. Beerus hasn't even used 100% of his power. This is only a part of it. Meanwhile, in universes far away, a trio of warriors were born with the same abilities as Kakarot and would observe the battle. And I expect this, Beerus, the former leader of the holy gods, still retains incredible destructive power. I thought he was able to be relieved by his position. His powers decreased, but contrary, it seems to increase.
That's because Beerus, like us, has been born with the power of the gods, and despite this, he was able to train his power, because as the leader of the holy gods, his power should be the order. Even his power is on par with Daishinken. At that moment, the warrior who was sitting on his throne would stand. Doing so, everything around him froze. That pressure was released over the place, incomparable. Neen's right. She's also wrong about something. Because even though we are born with the power beyond of God as destruction, there are hierarchies among us, and I want to prove that. The current leader of the sacred gods, that is me, against that damn cat. Everything around him was shaking, being able to cause destruction. In this part, return to the battlefield, both attacks would explode. Between the smoke screen, Beerus would hit the Saiyans, causing them to fall. You call yourself a warrior race? You're flies compared to the power of a god. You're not worthy to call yourself warriors. No, damn. I can't believe the power of Beerus is capable of this. I thought that with the power of a god I could cope with it. I was mistaken. You really possess overwhelming power. I didn't want to use this transformation, and I doubted your true power. I wanted to use it against Whis, but you leave me no choice.
What, you underestimated me? Ha! Make me laugh. You try to use all your power reserved, you can't do nothing. No, Kakarot, it's better not to ask for help. Since we don't have the power to face him, it'll go a long way to be at his level. Kakarot, without paying attention, would clench his fists, and around him everything would tremble. The power was reaching incredible for Whis. That power would surpass several angels, only being below Daishinken and Whis being the holy angels. Kakarot's hair would glow and grow, and an incredible pressure would fall on Beerus' entire body. Kakarot, with a great roar and explosion, would access a new state. This is the new power I've been able to get with my training. I hope you're ready, Beerus, since you can't force me to use everything. This is gonna get funny. I must confess, you have incredible power. No matter how much you increase it, you can't beat me. We'll only know that if we start fighting. Kakarot, surpassing the speed of light, lashed out on Beerus, granting him great blows. Beerus, with difficulty, would try to stop him with his forearm, but with the power, Beerus' arm was destroyed. Kakarot would quickly knock him to the ground, and Beerus, with his dexterity, would dodge, and with his other arm lashing out, Kakarot was able to block, but his power was so great, he sent it towards a few mountains, destroying the terrain. A single blow from that guy could break my arm. His power with that transformation's on another level.
Well, well, Lord Beerus, after millions of years, used his definitive state again, or better known as the leader of the holy gods. Beerus would increase his power, generating destruction through the planet, and Universe 7 were shaking with that power expelled. Beerus would observe a new form of combat, leaving them surprised.
Wow, so you're hiding your true power. Ha! Because you know I'll use all my energy. I can't believe that power is able to free Beerus, but even with that power, my son's calm. I gotta help him. Bardock positioned himself to Kakarot's side with a great determination. I appreciate your help, since we have started this battle together, and together we'll finish it. Let's do our best, Father, and become more powerful. Of course, Kakarot, we're the most powerful Saiyans of the cosmos. We'll overcome the power of a god of destruction. I'm surprised you can force me to use my ultimate state. I hope you're ready. This transformation I'm not able to control with my power. Beerus, with incredible speed, would knock Kakarot both at a great speed and exchange millions of blows. Bardock tried to follow, but it was impossible, since he could only see a few flashes on the battlefield. Damn it, I don't have the power to help my son. The only thing I could do is give him all my power. Bardock would stretch out his hands, transmitting his power to the Ultra Instinct to him. The battle of both warriors through Universe 7, Kakarot would oversight Beerus and would see one of his legs dragging him over the planet, destroying everything, and without wasting time would rise to the top of the planet. Receive this power! I know you won't die because you have incredible power! Kakarot would be able to gather large amounts of energy in his palms, being able to throw it against Beerus. Realizing that his attack was about to collide with him, he would raise his power to the max, and his incredible aura was able to disintegrate that attack. Ugh, that hurt too much. I gotta retain my ultimate state, since previously I was able to disintegrate attacks, surprising me. But now that damage on my body, his technique is incredible. Beerus vomited blood, but quickly got on his feet. The holy gods were watching everything that happened. I didn't expect that. I thought Beerus lost his final state, but apparently he's able to access that state through transformation. I don't want to fight him. I want to return to the humiliations of the past.
My lord, I completely trust your powers, but don't you think it's a bad idea to go against Beerus? Even in the sacred scrolls, Beerus is praised as a deity of great power. It'd be better to leave everything that is till now. Although it is hard for me to admit, I agree with Yasuke. We trust in his power, but really the feats of Beerus are amazing. He was able to train us, and although the three of us fought together, we weren't able to beat him. Yaibo, annoyed, would expel great power, being able to completely bend them. That's right, despite his companions, Yaibo's power was growing unbridled. I don't want that damn good-for-nothing cat again. Even though he has great power, he's not invincible, and I'm going in for millions of years. I'm sure I can beat him. Yaibo clenched his fists so tight drops of blood would be able to collect out of them. Oh, I swear I'll end the life of Beerus. I've got to be able to collect everything he was able to do to me and hold his head as a trophy. Returned to the battlefield, the warriors in terrible conditions were despite falling to the ground and got back to their feet. I have no plans to lose. Even my father entrusted me with his power. I can't disappoint him. I'll be the most powerful Saiyan of the 12 universes. I can't believe his ancient leader of the holy gods is deplorable conditions. The power of that Saiyan is dangerous. Both stared at each other on the planet destroyed. Both warriors were raising their powers to the limit, because this time the end of the combat was their definitive attack. I hope you're ready. I'll use all my power, and this technique was the Dragon Destroyer of the great Beerus. It doesn't matter what it is, I'll support my parents and support them to become more powerful. Get my blow, Dragon God! Instantly, the attacks were launched, but the techniques were similar. The instant technique of collides would everything around them destroy, because the condensed energy in each was of a higher level. Oh, this is bad. If the techniques collide more than 2 minutes, it'll generate an explosion so powerful it'll destroy everything.
Whis, you better stop them, because in this case, if they explode, like you said, Universe 7 would be destroyed.
Oh, don't worry, Bardock. If that would happen again, the other angels would be able to master Mr. Beerus, but me being a sacred angel, I have nothing to worry about.
At that moment, the technique of both warriors would explode, starting to destroy everything in their path. However, the black hole would form from the staff of Whis, being able to absorb both techniques without difficulty. With the power I have, it's impossible for both of them to destroy the universe, since I am still here to protect it. But from above, both warriors would begin to fall towards Beerus' planet, colliding, destroying the base of it.
Apparently they've reached their limits, but that's just the beginning, because it is incredible that Kakarot would train for no more than 2 years, coping with Beerus, who is able to train for millions.
Whis would heal the wounds of both, but still out of combat, the trio of the Holy Gods were preparing to go to the planet of Beerus and visit their former commander. It's time to pay Beerus a visit, and that's Saiyan who had the power to face the definitive state of Beerus. It's really funny. I think I'll be able to access my combat status. "70 million years ago, there was an unimaginable void without any life, when suddenly emerged a being which didn't know it was himself where he was. What's going on? What am I? I can't see anything. What is this immense void?" What he didn't know was, until that moment, was that he was an omnipotent being who was going to create everything known as the universe. He would even create a whole multiverse full of different types of life in order to find at some point an individual who could match or surpass the strength of his son called Zeno-sama. In Zeno-sama's palace, 30 million years after the birth of Zeno-sama's father, he introduces himself to his son. "Zeno-sama, my son, you've grown strong and apparently you've become very powerful over the centuries."
Father, I've always felt that my existence has no purpose. I often get bored. Why did you bring me to life to be bored?
70 million years ago, there was a void from which I was created. As I grew, I developed powers and immeasurable strength. As a result of that, a need was born in me to find a being who could match or surpass your strength, to even equal my own greatness. That's why I created planets, galaxies, universes, and living beings of various species.
All this was created just so that I could exist?
Yes, my son. Every star, every life form, everything has a purpose. To prepare you to be the supreme god of all that I've created. You're the main reason for all my creation.
It's a heavy burden, Father. Why me?
Because in you, I see the true potential to rule in this vast cosmos. You are the hope to maintain harmony among the creations that have sprung from my being. You are the missing piece in this cosmic chest.
Father, all this that you tell me is an enormous responsibility. I don't know if I'm ready to be able to do it. What if I fail?
There is no failure, son. Your very existence is success. Every moment in your life has molded you into the supreme being that you are. I trust you will fulfill your destiny.
What about you, Father? What role do you play in all this?
My role is to guide you from the shadows, to watch you fulfill your purpose. Finding balance in the universe is a task that requires your leadership. I'll be here, in the darkness, watching you carry out the mission I have given you.
I understand, Father. Leave everything in my hands.
Thus passed centuries, millennia, in which Zeno-sama was guided by his father to govern the immense multiverse he had created for him, but now convinced of the purpose he had in his life. In the present time, 30 million years after the conversation that Zeno-sama and his father had, in one of the universes created by Father Zeno, on a planet called Earth, Kakarot and Vegeta were training together with Whis and Beerus after having faced very powerful beings. While they were training, the Earth was illuminated by flashes of energy. As Kakarot and Vegeta embark on intense training, Whis and Beerus watch from a distance, assessing the Saiyans' every move as they prepare to rise in their skills.
Hey, Vegeta! Remember when we first faced Frieza? That guy was incredibly strong.
Yes, Kakarot. It was our first encounter with an enemy of another level. But we cannot forget the Cell Bug, that creature with cells from all of us. He put us in big trouble with his martial arts tournament. Luckily, your son became strong. Both Saiyans exchanged energy blasts. Each hit and dodge was an echo of their long history of battles.
Ah, yes! The first time you showed the teleportation technique. That was amazing! Thanks to Gohan, we were able to defeat him.
But then came Majin Buu. That battle was unforgettable. We had to merge to have a chance.
The fusion was great, but we also learned about redemption and kindness at that time. Buu became good because of you.
As they continue their training, the energy of both Saiyans light up the space. Whis and Beerus watch with interest. Yes, but don't forget about Beerus, that god of destruction who almost wiped out the Earth with a single sneeze. Although in the end, he turned out to be more of a joker than we thought.
Yes, I remember when I tried to fight him in my Super Saiyan 3 form. I wasn't at his level, but at least I gave him a fight in my Super Saiyan God form, and that was possible thanks to all of you.
That's right, and now we're here, training with Whis and Beerus. We cannot let our guard down, Kakarot. There'll always be bigger challenges.
Exactly! Every fight makes us stronger. Let's keep training and bettering ourselves.
Of course. We're always one step closer to being the strongest warriors in the universe. The training continues as Kakarot and Vegeta, under the tutelage of Whis and Beerus, strive to reach new levels of power in order to defend the Earth from new and more powerful enemies that may appear with the desire to destroy the planet that welcomed them. While Kakarot and Vegeta were training to overcome their limits, Whis and Beerus encouraged them to keep improving.
Very good, Saiyans. Keep it up.
Yes, they're very strong, but I don't know if that'll be enough to keep my interest. Suddenly, they feel a dark presence and the whole environment begins to become dark, and a dark, powerful presence fills the place.
What's going on, Mr. Whis? Something's not right. I feel an extremely powerful and dark presence.
That feeling sounds familiar. Who could it be? The darkness intensifies, and suddenly an opposing figure appears in front of them like a shadowy nebula. Inhabitants of the multiverse, have you missed me? Hello, dear inhabitants of the multiverse. I've come to observe progress of my creations.
What? Who is this guy?
I don't know, Kakarot, but his presence is overwhelming.
No way.
What? The figure lingers in a shadowy haze, with the speaker being the father of Zeno-sama, the omnipotent being who created the multiverse. This one appears in all multiverse, where all the warriors were training for future problems. This guy is the father of Zeno-sama, the creator of everything we know of universes beyond our imagination. I didn't think we'd ever see him.
Sir, your arrival is unexpected. Forgive the insolence, but to what do we owe you presents?
The inclination of Whis and all the angels of different universes is because they have knowledge of who was the father of Zeno-sama. For that reason, they have a great fear and respect for him. I see you've been busy, warriors. You have faced great obstacles throughout your insignificant lives, but this time has come. Are you strong enough?
We're always up for a good challenge.
Shut up, Kakarot. Don't you feel how powerful he is? How can you say that? Haven't you noticed something missing in the multiverse? At that moment, Zeno-sama's father set out to tell them the reason for the ambiguous question. Moments before Zeno's father appeared before the whole multiverse, he was very angry because when he woke up from the dream of millions of years, he was surprised that many things had happened that went against the main reason why he created the whole universe. Because of this, he appears before his son Zeno-sama. In the center of the realm of everything, the overwhelming presence of Zeno-sama's father eclipses space. His voice booms like thunder as he directs his fury towards his son Zeno-sama. The latter, visibly nervous, tries to defend himself as the tension between the two intensifies. Zeno-sama, you failed in your duty as Supreme God. All the warriors of the multiverse have overstepped their bounds and now dare to call themselves gods. Gods? This is unacceptable!
Father, I understand that this is all being misunderstood, but...
There's no excuses, Zeno-sama. Your lack of authority has allowed inferior beings to rise above us. How dare you let them usurp the title of gods?
I'm sorry, Father. I did not intend for things to come to this point.
The anger in Father Zeno's voice increases. His tone becomes more defiant and contemptuous. Your intention? Your weakness has sullied the name of our divinity. The only god here is me, and no one else should dare to call himself that. No one!
Father, I understand that I'm in your debt, but we can find another way to restore order.
Father Zeno's response is an explosion of contempt and fury. You do not deserve the title of God at all. Your weakness has tainted my creation. Because of your incompetence, I must restore the balance, even if it means getting rid of you.
What? Father, please don't do it! There's so much I can still learn and improve! I can fix all of this!
Zeno-sama's imploration is lost in Father Zeno's cold determination. It is already too late, Zeno. Weakness must be eradicated from existence for true power to prevail. In an instant, Zeno-sama's father unleashes a blast of devastating energy that engulfs Zeno-sama and begins to tear him to shreds as he screams in pain.
No, Father, please! Ah!
Order has been restored. No one else will dare to challenge my supremacy. I will now take it upon myself to re-establish balance through my creation. In the present day, in front of the terrified warriors, due to what Zeno-sama's father had informed them what had happened to his son Zeno-sama, a being they all adored and feared. You insignificant beings now understand. Because of this, I will destroy all the timelines and universes that exist. I am a divine being, omnipotent, and I can do it. But I will give you a chance to fight for your lives. So I'll organize a tournament in which the strongest warriors of the entire multiverse will participate so that the power will prevail. Earth 2024.
What?
This can't be true.
Do you think we can face something like that, Mr. Piccolo?
Oh? We'll have to train a lot physically and, above all, mentally. The idea of a tournament piques his interest, seeing the opportunity to test his own power and perhaps become even stronger. Thraxis Nocturne. Planet sunk in the shadows.
A tournament, eh? Well, I'll show that true power is not limited to divine beings.
I won't let them destroy our future. I will fight in that tournament and protect my own.
A tournament with the strongest warriors, huh? It'll be my chance to show that the Saiyans are not insignificant beings. We will see who is truly divine in this tournament. My empire will prevail. A competition between the strongest. Interesting. I was showed that the Metacoolers are superior in all universes.
Nigerian, a world with perpetually cloudy skies where storms of dark energy lash the surface.
Father, this tournament will be the perfect occasion to show you that my power surpasses yours. Perfect. I'll show my true power and wreak havoc in every corner of the multiverse. Destruction in a tournament. What a magnificent combination. I will be the ultimate warrior and subdue all under my rule. Let's fight. This tournament will be my stage to demonstrate the power I've obtained.
Dracoria, homeworld of the humanoid dragon warriors and the descendants. The threat of destruction is overwhelming. My fire may not be enough to face its dark omnipotence.
A shadow that threatens to destroy everything. My ability to manipulate the darkness may not be enough. Even with my swordsmanship, facing an omnipotent divine being will be an unparalleled challenge. This divine being has the power to destroy everything I love. My fire will be my defense.
A divine threat. My control over thunderstorms will be enough. This will be a challenge like never before. After seeing the various emotions and thoughts of the main participants of the tournament, Zeno-sama's father begins to explain the rules of this supposed tournament. Minimal beings. The rules are simple. The tournament will be to the death. It will be held in a timeless space where the laws of time and physics are temporarily suspended. The only way to eliminate an opponent is to make his heart stop. It is by killing him. There's no other way. In this tournament, it is either you or your rival. There's no limits on the use of skills. You must unleash your full potential without restriction, so as not to be destroyed in the process. I'll be the one who will watch over the whole process. The participant who wins will have the joy of facing me, putting his life and the life of his universe at stake. But I'm a PS deity, and I will bring him the opportunity to have a divine power similar to mine for a determined time. If he does not take the advantage of it, he will have to accept the consequences. In spite of the uncertainty that the warriors have in front of what the father of Zeno-sama has said, some are excited and others are worried.
Wow, this sounds exciting! A tournament with fighters from all universes. It's gonna be great!
Why should we trust this tournament to be fair? By killing them?
So I can fight to the best of my ability. But killing beings that are just fighting for their lives is not nice.
I hope everything I've said has been clear to everyone. The only rule is that you have to kill your opponent so that they don't kill you. I want to make that clear. You will have to kill your opponent. The way we will check if you're worthy of calling yourselves gods. Father Zeno disappears and everything returns to normal. You can see Kakarot's excited about the new enemy that is seen. It is very powerful. Vegeta, scared and worried about his family, angry with Kakarot.
Wow, that guy's incredibly strong. I'm excited to fight him in the next tournament.
Excited? Do you realize what's at stake, Kakarot? The enemy is dangerous, and we can't just underestimate him.
But Vegeta, that guy has awesome power. It's gonna be the best fight of our lives.
This is not a game, Kakarot. Do you realize that we're putting our families and the entire universe at risk?
I know it's serious, Vegeta, but it's also a chance to get better. Besides, Zeno-sama's father is excited about this.
I can't believe you're so carefree. My family's in danger and you're excited about a fight.
I'm not saying I'm not serious, Vegeta, but when an opportunity presents itself to measure our power, I can't resist.
You always think about the fight, don't you? Sometimes I wish you had a little more responsibility.
Vegeta, I understand that you're worried about Bulma and Trunks, but trust that we can protect them.
I don't like the idea of someone else deciding about our lives.
I understand, Vegeta, but do you really think we can ignore this opportunity?
I'm not going to lose my family over a fight, but I also know that I can't stop you from getting excited about the battle. At that moment, the tension between Kakarot and Vegeta is palpable as they prepare to face the new enemy. While Kakarot is filled with excitement for the fight, Vegeta faces the situation with a mixture of fear and determination. Thus, the training of the entire multiverse for the survival of their species began. From the moment on, the most powerful warriors of all the universes began to train with greater intensity in order to save their universes and timelines. After having communicated with the entire multiverse from the realm of everything, the father of Zeno-sama would observe everything from a crystal screen, that the warriors were getting stronger and stronger. He sent his shadow warriors to slow down the process of them. What is this feeling that stirs my supreme being? A mixture of fascination and disdain. It's inevitable that mortals yearn for more, that they aspire to surpass their boundaries. Yet some of these warriors are reaching levels I cannot allow. Their power threatens the balance I've established. It's enough that they're mere participants in my tournament. They must be contained. They must be eliminated before their ascensions endanger the stability of my creation. My shadow warriors, creatures of the shadow and executioners of my will travel throughout all the universes. They'll be my instruments to stop these reckless advances. I will not allow the power of these warriors to grow beyond the limits set by my divinity.
Father Zeno, we're here to receive your orders.
Shadow creatures, my loyal enforcers, the time has come. The universes pulsate with an energy that threatens to destabilize the order I've established. Mortal warriors, in their relentless pursuit of power, are rising to dangerous heights. Their progress must be halted.
Your orders are our will. How do you wish us to proceed?
Each of you will disperse among the universes. Your mission is to find those warriors who dare to exceed the limits imposed. There's no room for compassion. The threat must be eradicated. Annihilate them without mercy.
We will, Father Zeno. No warrior will be strong enough to defy your will.
The shadow creatures set off to every universe and timeline to destroy every warrior who would participate. Along the way, they encountered weak warriors who they destroyed with these strong and very powerful ones. It was dusk when suddenly the Earth's atmosphere trembled with an unnatural darkness. In the blink of an eye, shadow creatures emerged from the interdimensional shadows, ethereal and menacing beings that would challenge even the strength of the mightiest warriors. Kakarot and Vegeta, training on the vast battlefield of Earth, sense the arrival of an ominous presence. Shadow creatures, their ethereal forms and eyes burning with the intensity of darkness, materialized before them.
What are you? We are servants of Father Zeno.
Your progress has been noted and must be halted. The will of Father Zeno is the supreme law. The warriors have exceeded the allowable limits and will now be destroyed. The shadow creatures moved with an agility that defied logic, leaving behind them trails of darkness. Kakarot and Vegeta prepared for the confrontation, their energies flashing in response to the threatening presence.
Well, it looks like we have new opponents. This should be interesting.
No matter who sends them, will not allow them to stop our progress. The shadow creatures, speechless, rushed towards Kakarot and Vegeta with flashing speed. The battle ahead would not only be a test of strength, but a struggle between light and darkness, between the determination of the warriors and the will of the father of Zeno-sama. The battle rages and the environment, plants, stones, and sky are witness to the incredible demonstration of power. Kakarot and Vegeta, deploying a great amount of ki, are in the center ready to face the two mysterious shadow warriors that attack them. Shadow Creature 1 moves at breakneck speed, leaving only flashes of darkness in its wake. Its form is ethereal, almost impossible to follow with the eye. It attacks with incredible precision, throwing punches and kicks that defy the perception of time. Shadow Creature 2 stands out for its devastating power. Its every strike sends out waves of dark energy that distort the surrounding space. Its presence emanates an ominous aura that shakes even the particles of space. The fight begins with Kakarot and Vegeta charging forward, but the shadow creatures respond with astonishing agility, dodging every blow and counterattacking with almost invisible movements. Faced with the speed of the Shadow Warriors, Kakarot and Vegeta are forced to raise their power to Super Saiyan level.
Vegeta, these guys are incredibly fast. I can't even keep up with their moves.
Looks like our usual speed isn't enough. We'll have to raise our power to the maximum. Both Saiyans concentrate, their golden auras bursting as they transform into Super Saiyan. Their golden hair lights up the space as they launch into a fierce offensive. But the Shadow Warriors remain equally agile, gracefully dodging the attacks. The intensity of the power illuminates the space.
Now, Vegeta, let's go all out!
Let's go, Kakarot! The Saiyans rush towards these Shadow Warriors with a fierce offensive. However, the Shadow creatures dodge their attacks with surprising grace, moving through the energy blast with ease.
Is that the best you can do, Saiyans?
Their speed is admirable, but they're still not up to par. Damn it! We can't go on like this, Kakarot. We need something else.
You're right, Vegeta. Let's take this to the next level.
Faced with persistent speed of the Shadow Warriors, Kakarot and Vegeta rise their power even higher, transforming into Super Saiyan Blue. Their blue auras flash with intensity and the pressure of their power shakes the surrounding space. However, the Shadow Warriors are not daunted. The battle reaches its peak as the four warriors are engulfed in a frenzy of energy. Kakarot launches his attack called Kamehameha, and Vegeta launches his final flash attack, but the Shadow Warriors respond with counterattacks that defy the laws of physics. Then the clash of these powerful attacks causes an immense explosion. At the precise moment that both Saiyan warriors, the shadow creatures, collided their attacks, the explosion resulting from the collision of the attacks left a crater on the battlefield, while a dense smoke obscured the view. Amidst the haze, Goku with a serious but confident expression, and Vegeta, also with a confident expression of having destroyed the shadow creatures with his attacks, stood on guard, ready to face whatever emerged from this smoke. Suddenly, as soon as the smoke dissipated from the battlefield, the shadowy creatures emerged unharmed, floating in the air with an even more intense presence. Their forms twisted, revealing an even darker and more powerful transformation. Now with eyes glowing with a more intense light, the shadow creatures uttered a great malevolent laugh and moved towards Goku and Vegeta with renowned ferocity. The sky was covered with dark clouds and lightning intermittently illuminated the scene. The creatures, once scattered, began to converge into a chaotic mass. Their bodies intertwined and merged, creating a monstrous entity that emanated a dark and malevolent aura. The fusion of the creatures was completed with a loud roar, and before Goku and Vegeta emerged, a nightmarish creature. The fused creature had a grotesque figure, with twisted limbs and glowing eyes filled with evil. Its body was enveloped in a halo of dark energy, which distorted the space around it. The ground shook with every step he took, and the waves of evil energy generated chaos on the battlefield. Goku and Vegeta exchanged determined glances. They knew they faced an unprecedented threat. The fusion of the creatures had given rise to a being of incredible power and speed. Goku frowned, clenching his fists, while Vegeta gave a cocky grin. Kakarot, looks like things have become interesting. I didn't expect to have to face something like this. Yes, Vegeta, this creature's no joke. We're gonna have to give it our all. Both warriors raised their ki to the maximum, surrounding themselves with an intense golden and blue aura. Their hair stood on end and the earth trembled under the pressure of their combined power. The fused creature responded with a guttural laugh and advanced towards them with great strides. Come on, Vegeta, let's attack together and put an end to this! For once, Kakarot, I agree. The battle reached its climax as Goku and Vegeta, enveloped in their golden and blue auras, launched themselves towards the fused creature. Every punch and burst of energy echoed through the air, creating a spectacle of flashes and booms. The creature, however, was not easy to defeat. Its agility and strength were astounding, dodging the Saiyan's attacks with ease. Vegeta, we need to find an opening in its defense! Focus! I know, Kakarot, but this thing's fast! The fused creature responded with a ripping attack, sending the Saiyans flying across the battlefield. Goku and Vegeta, however, quickly recovered and stood up with renewed determination. We can't underestimate this thing! Come on, Vegeta! Let's attack together! Alright, Kakarot. Together we'll defeat it! Goku nodded and they concentrated their energies into an amazing combined attack. A brilliant flash of light and blue light materialized in their hands, growing with each second. The fused creature, seeing the imminent threat, tried to counterattack, but it was too late. Kame! Final Flash! The powerful beam of combined energy shot towards the fused creature, illuminating the dark battle with its radiance. However, just when impact seemed inevitable, the creature, in the last act of desperation, deployed a dark shield that managed to resist the Saiyan's assault. The result explosion sent Goku and Vegeta flying backwards, returning them to their base form, leaving them dazed and severely injured on the ground. The fused creature, though weakened, struggled to its feet, its malevolent aura flickering, but far from fading completely. Vegeta, we're in trouble! This thing's stronger than we thought! Vegeta, however, lay motionless on the ground with visible wounds and his aura rapidly diminishing. Vegeta! Don't give up, Vegeta! The fused creature, slowly recovering, calmly approached towards Vegeta with a palpable malevolence in its glowing eyes. Your efforts are futile. I'm the amalgam of darkness itself. This is the end of you, Saiyan Prince. Goku, full of rage and despair, stood up and threw himself towards the creature with what was left of his strength. However, the creature, with a simple wave of its hand, unleashed a wave of dark energy that enveloped Kakarot and threw him violently to the ground. Vegeta, we need a plan. The fused creature approached Vegeta, lifting him off the ground with one hand. The Saiyan Prince, barely conscious, opened his eyes to meet the cold, merciless gaze of his energy. Kakarot, do whatever it takes. The fused creature, with a contemptuous gesture, threw Vegeta back to the ground, leaving him on the verge of death. The battle, which had begun with hope, now became bleaker than ever. With his partner down and his own strength waning, Kakarot faced a strength that seemed insurmountable. Goku, sensing the desperation of the situation, recalled the hermit seeds he carried with him. The moment the fused creature came speeding towards him, Goku managed to dodge that blow swiftly, approached Vegeta and handed him one of the valuable seeds. Vegeta, eat this! It'll give you the energy to keep fighting! At the same time, Goku also consumed one of the seeds. Vegeta, barely conscious, accepted the seed and consumed it urgently. The hermit seed acted quickly, healing Vegeta's wounds and restoring his life energy. Flashes of golden light surrounded the Saiyan Prince. As he stood up, his eyes were gaining determination. Kakarot, don't underestimate me. I can keep fighting. Fine, Vegeta, but we need something else to defeat this creature. Do you remember the fusion technique? Vegeta frowned but nodded in understanding. Both Saiyans positioned themselves in front of the fused creature, focusing their energies. Vegeta, let's do it! Let's merge! I don't think it'll come to this, Kakarot, but I have no choice. Both warriors stood side by side, raising their hands into the front and began to concentrate their energies. The atmosphere was filled with a brilliant glow as the two Saiyans merged into a single entity. The resulting figure was a perfect combination of Goku and Vegeta with a powerful golden aura enveloping their fused bodies. This fusion creature showed signs of unease as it witnessed the transformation. The new Saiyan entity turned to it with a determined look. The fusion between Goku and Vegeta, known as Gogeta, in his Super Saiyan form was now evident. Gogeta, with the combined voice of Goku and Vegeta, said, "Prepare for defeat. We're the fusion of the Saiyans, there's nothing we cannot overcome." With a unified shout, the Saiyan fusion lunged towards the fused creature with incredible speed and power. The battle between the Saiyan fusion and the fused creature erupted into a frenzy of power and skill. Every move, every blow, every burst of energy shook the battlefield. The earth trembled under the intensity of the confrontation, and the sky lit up with the sparks of energy released during the fight. Gogeta, with the combination of Goku's cunning and Vegeta's determination, proved to be an unstoppable force. However, the fused creature did not yield easily, showing a resilience that defied expectations. Both contenders were at a stalemate, each pushing their limits to the max. Goku and Vegeta, in their fused form, began to feel the need to unleash more power to overcome their formidable foe. In a moment of perfect synchronization, both Saiyans raised their ki to the limit, and the atmosphere itself began to be distorted with the built-up pressure.
It's time to take this to the next level!
In a dazzling flash, the Saiyan fusion underwent an astonishing metamorphosis. His once golden hair now turned sapphire blue, and his aura took on a heavenly hue. The transformation to Super Saiyan Blue had taken place. The fused creature recoiled momentarily as it witnessed the new form. Shocked by the magnitude of the power unleashed, however, the Saiyan fusion showed no mercy and lunged towards with dizzying speed.
Prepare for true Saiyan strength!
The attacks and counterattacks reached a speed that defied perception. The fused creature, despite its previous endurance, was outmatched by the speed and aggressiveness of the Saiyan fusion in its Super Saiyan Blue form. The battle had not yet come to an end. In a final attempt to resist, the fused creature unleashed its own dark power, enveloping the Saiyan fusion in a spiral of chaotic energy. Gogeta, in response, concentrated his energy to the maximum in an act of rage.
Let's go farther!
The energy surrounding the Saiyan fusion intensified and exploded in a dazzling burst. The bright blue aura became more intense, and the power of the Saiyan fusion increased to unimaginable levels. The sky lit up with glows and waves of energy as the fused creature faced Gogeta's unstoppable strength. However, in an unexpected twist, the creature began to build up a dark and sinister energy, revealing a hidden power.
Your resistance is impressive, Saiyans, but you have not seen my true potential.
The fused creature transformed, its fusion distorting further. A black aura filled with malevolence surrounded its body as its eyes glowed with terrifying intensity.
What the hell is it doing?
The fused creature, now imbued with a new dark power, lunged at Gogeta with surprising speed. Despite Gogeta's formidable strength in his Super Saiyan Blue form, the fused creature seemed to be able to anticipate even more.
Now you'll experience true darkness.
Gogeta sensed the threat, deciding to take his own power to the extreme. In a blink of an eye, he activated the technique, the Kaioken. His blue aura multiplied into a mixture of blue and red, and the intensity of the battle reached levels never seen before.
It's time to put an end to this! Kaioken!
Gogeta's speed and strength multiplied exponentially, and the fused creature was momentarily caught off guard. However, the creature counterattacked with a blast of dark energy that enveloped Gogeta, but he struggled to resist. Gogeta, in his Kaioken state, felt the need to raise his power even higher. Thus, his ki increased, causing the earth to tremble from such immense power, destroying mountains and lifting rocks into the skies. At that precise moment, he disappeared from the sight of the fused creature, appearing from behind and creating a glowing bluish sphere of energy that materialized between his hands.
Final Kamehameha!
The energy sphere impacted against the fused creature with unparalleled force. The resulting explosion lit up the sky, dispersed the creature's dark energy. However, when the light faded, the fused creature emerged once again, albeit visibly weakened.
Do not not underestimate my power, Saiyans. I have attained a form beyond your comprehension.
Gogeta, sensing the gravity of the situation, prepared for the next confrontation. The battle, far from over, was entering even more dangerous terrain, with the fate of the universe hanging in the balance in this fierce struggle between light and darkness. The battlefield was plunged into utter chaos, with destructive shockwaves reverberating throughout space. Gogeta, with his combined aura of Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken, was moving at speeds that defied perception. The fused creature, despite his new enhanced form, was momentarily outmatched by the Saiyan warrior's speed.
Darkness cannot defeat light. It's time to seal your fate.
Though weakened, the fused creature did not give up. With impressive speed, it lunged towards Gogeta, unleashing a series of dark attacks that even defied the Kaioken's speed.
Your light is but a fleeting glimmer. In the eternity of darkness, you will suffer.
Gogeta, with sharp reflexes at precise moments, will dodge the fused creature's attacks. The battle reached an even greater frenzy, with a clash of fists and kicks creating waves of energy that swept the surrounding landscape. The once dark and stormy sky were illuminated by the flashes on the contest. In the beginning of the moment of opportunity, Gogeta channeled the Kaioken to an even higher level. His aura became more intense, mixing blue with red in a dazzling display. Seeing the new burst of power, the fused creature recoiled momentarily, a moment Gogeta took advantage of to gather energy.
This is the limit of your darkness. Prepare for the end.
Gogeta, with unmatched speed, appeared in front of the fused creature, concentrating his energy to a single point. A glowing sphere of energy formed between his hands, but this time, the sphere was not blue, it was a mixture of colors. A fusion of the power of Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken.
Kaioken 20 times! Final Kamehameha!
The now larger, more powerful energy sphere hurled with impressive speed towards the fused creature. The resulting explosion illuminated the entire horizon, causing the mountains and valleys to be enveloped in a dazzling glow. When the light faded, the fused creature lay defeated on the ground. Its dark aura completely dissipated. Gogeta, with his Super Saiyan Blue form and Kaioken still activated, watched cautiously. The intense battle had come to an end, but the price of the confrontation was reflected in the devastated Earth and the wear and tear visible on the Saiyan warrior.
I hope that was enough. This universe can't take any more of this destruction.
With a flash, Gogeta deactivated the Kaioken and returned to his base form. As silence descended over the battlefield, the lingering question was whether the threat had truly been eliminated or if there was still challenges to be faced in the vast cosmos. Goku and Vegeta, feeling that the threat had been neutralized for the moment, separated from the Saiyan fusion. The intensity of the battle had left both Saiyans exhausted, but their attention was diverted to a disturbing reality. In the corner of their vision, they watched as a small dark creature made its way towards where Gohan and Broly were standing.
Vegeta, something's happening! We must get there fast!
Those two are in trouble if that thing gets to them. Let's go, Goku!
Both Saiyans, despite their exhaustion, dashed towards Gohan and Broly's location with as much speed as possible. As they approached, they could see the dark creature getting closer and closer to the two warriors. Gohan, who was training with Broly in an attempt to increase his skills, noticed Goku and Vegeta's arrival urgently.
Dad! Vegeta! Something's coming!
Broly, with his piercing gaze, had also sensed the approaching threat.
Evil creature, we will fight!
The small dark creature, noticing the presence of the Saiyans, stopped advancing and displayed a malevolent laugh.
Your victory was short-lived. This is only the first of many surprises.
Before they could react, the dark creature split into multiple smaller shadows, surrounding Gohan and Broly with astonishing speed.
Watch out, Broly! They're fast and dangerous!
We will fight! We won't let them defeat us!
Goku and Vegeta, arriving just in time, joined the battle. The battle became a chaotic dance of blows and explosions as the Saiyans fought the dark shadows that multiplied endlessly.
Let's finish this quickly! Gohan, Broly, stay strong!
Got it, Vegeta!
Broly, unleashing his titanic power, emitted a wave of energy that temporarily dispersed the dark shadows. However, the dark creature, in a final act of desperation, merged back into a larger, more powerful form.
My shadows cannot be so easily defeated. The real battle has just begun.
The shadow creature, now strengthened and more menacing than ever, faced the four Saiyan warriors with palpable malevolence. Gohan, Broly, Goku, and Vegeta moved into battle stance, facing the shadow creature with determination.
Come on, guys, let's work together and put an end to this menace once and for all.
Broly growled in agreement, his power emanating from him with an imposing force. Goku and Vegeta, despite their earlier exhaustion, raised their energies ready for the battle ahead. The shadow creature, with a sinister laugh, lunged towards them with surprising speed. The Saiyans responded with a coordinated assault, launching energy blasts and performing combo attacks. However, the shadow creature was agile and dodged their attacks with ease.
We can't let this thing get away. Concentrate on attacking together.
You're right, Vegeta. If we fight them as a team, we can overcome anything.
The four Saiyans synchronized their movements, attacking in harmony. Broly unloaded titanic blows. Gohan used his agility and advanced techniques, while Goku and Vegeta coordinated their energies to create a combined assault. Despite their efforts, the shadow creature proved to be resilient and adaptable. It defended with cunning and counterattacked with fury. In a moment of tension, the shadow creature unleashed a dark glow that enveloped its form, transforming to an even more powerful and monstrous version.
It's getting stronger again!
It doesn't matter. I'll destroy it.
The battle intensified as the shadow creature in its enhanced form launched waves of dark energy and unleashed more devastating attacks. The Saiyans, however, did not back down. Despite the gravity of the situation, their determination burned stronger than ever.
There's no limit to our strength when we fight together. Come on, guys, we can't lose.
This thing doesn't know who it's messing with. Get ready for what's coming.
Gohan, Broly, Goku, and Vegeta channeled their energies to the maximum, shaking the earth under the intensity of their combined power. In a unified act, the four Saiyans raised their ki to the limit and lunged towards the shadow creature with indomitable resolve. The shadow creature, now in its strengthened form, unleashed a dark energy that enveloped Broly, possessing the mighty Saiyan with a malevolent influence. Broly, his eyes now awash with shadows, stood before the other Saiyans with a menacing presence.
Broly, I won't let you be used as a puppet. We must save him. We won't let this thing manipulate Broly. Come on, guys, let's protect ourselves and save our friend.
This is getting more complicated than I thought. But no matter, we won't let the darkness win.
The battle began with the shadow creature using Broly's immense power against them. The controlled Saiyans' attacks were fierce, with waves of energy and bursts of ki that challenged even the most experienced warriors. The Saiyans dodged and counterattacked, but the shadow creature took advantage of Broly's brute strength to counter his moves.
We must weaken it enough to free Broly! Dad, Vegeta, let's follow the plan and attack in unison!
The three Saiyans coordinated, launching a series of swift and powerful attacks. However, the shadow creature moved with agility, dodging most of the blows and countering with blows of its own. Broly, under the influence of the dark possession, was showing superhuman endurance.
It's not enough! Broly, fight against this influence!
We must force him to break free. We're gonna give it our all.
In a moment of desperation, the Saiyans decided to raise their powers to the maximum. Goku transformed into Super Saiyan second stage, Gohan advanced his mystical form, and Vegeta unleashed his own power into Super Saiyan second stage. The three Saiyans surrounded Broly, launching a combination of flurry of powerful attacks.
Broly, resist! Don't let their darkness consume you!
The shadow creature, feeling the combined presence of the three Saiyan warriors, showed signs of weakness. However, in a desperate act, the dark energy intensified its hold on Broly, raising its power even higher and unleashing unbridled fury.
We can't give up! We're going to free Broly, whatever it takes!
The battle reached its climax as the three Saiyan warriors, Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta, clashed against the shadow creature possessing Broly. The unleashed energy created a spectacle of flashes, explosions, and shockwaves that shook the battlefield. Goku, with his power as a Super Saiyan, moved with astonishing speed, launched energy blasts and accurate punches at the shadow creature. Gohan, in his mystical form, unleashed a combination of fast attacks and advanced techniques, seeking to weaken the dark possession that controlled Broly. Vegeta, in his Super Saiyan second phase form, displayed titanic power, coordinating his attacks with calculated precision.
Broly, listen to my voice! Don't be consumed by this darkness!
The shadow creature, however, resisted tenaciously, harnessing Broly's brute strength and ferocity to counter the Saiyan's attacks. Broly, under the dark possession, responded with unstoppable strength, his attacks more intense and uncontrolled.
We need to weaken that possession! Come on, guys, keep up the pressure!
This dark power won't last forever. We must resist.
The battle grew more frantic. With each passing moment, the shadow creature, sensing the threat of the Saiyans, intensified its hold on Broly, fusing its dark energy with the brute strength of the legendary Saiyan.
We can't back down now! Broly's our friend, and we won't let this darkness control him!
In a moment of perfect synchronization, the three Saiyans focused their energies into a coordinated attack. Goku launched a Kamehameha, Gohan unleashed a Masenko, and Vegeta fired a final flash, all aimed at the shadow creature. The resulting explosion illuminated the battlefield, creating an energy storm. However, when the light faded, the shadow creature and Broly still stood, visibly weakened but far from defeated.
It's not enough! We must find a way to free Broly from this possession!
At that moment, the shadow creature, taking advantage of the Saiyan's momentary weakness, launched a surprise attack, sending Goku and Gohan to the ground. Vegeta, with his rage in his eyes, stood up determined.
Enough's enough! We won't let this thing continue to manipulate Broly.
Vegeta concentrated his ki to the maximum, unleashing a new transformation. His intense blue aura transformed into an even brighter and more powerful hue.
Super Saiyan Blue!
The atmosphere itself seemed to tremble at the magnitude of the transformation. Vegeta, now in his evolved form, launched himself towards the shadow creature with renewed speed and power. Vegeta's transformation in Super Saiyan Blue Evolved caused a dramatic change in the intensity of the battle. His bright blue aura flashed with overwhelming energy as he charged towards the shadowy creature and Broly, who was still under his influence.
It's time to put an end to this. Broly, I'll fight to free you from this darkness.
The shadow creature, sensing the threat posed by Super Saiyan Blue, adopted a defensive stance. On the other hand, Broly, his eyes still darkened, prepared to face Vegeta. Vegeta unleashed a flurry of quick and precise attacks, combining punches and kicks with astonishing speed. Each move was charged with the strength of the new form, and the shadow creature was forced to retreat in the face of Vegeta's fury.
Broly, regain control. I'll not allow this darkness to consume you.
Broly, under the influence of the dark possession, responded with impressive stamina. His attacks were brutal and uncontrolled, but Vegeta moved with a dexterity that defied expectations.
I need to find an opening in this possession.
In an act of bravery, Vegeta launched himself directly towards Broly. Their fists collided forcefully, and Vegeta, using all his skill, made precise strikes that temporarily weakened the dark influence.
Broly, fight this! You're stronger than this darkness!
The shadowy creature, seeing Vegeta's resistance, increased his energy and fused even more with Broly. Now the dark influence was more entrenched than ever, and Broly unleashed an explosion of wild power.
You can't stop me, Saiyan Prince!
Vegeta, not backing down, continued to engage Broly. The battle reached new heights as both warriors unleashed their most powerful attacks. Vegeta launched a Big Bang attack while Broly responded with a gigantic charge of dark energy. The collision of energies generated a huge explosion that blanketed the area. After the dust settled, Vegeta lay on the ground, clearly exhausted but not giving up.
I can't lose. My determination's stronger than your darkness.
The battle between Vegeta and Broly, who was possessed by the shadow creature, reached a critical point. The overflowing energy of the confrontation was spreading across the battlefield, distorting the air and creating palpable tension. At that crucial moment, Goku found himself regaining consciousness, stood up, and immediately went to Saiyan Prince's side.
Vegeta, let's go! Let's give it all we've got!
Goku's transformation into Super Saiyan Phase 2 and joined the fray. The shadow creature, seeing the arrival of another Saiyan warrior, prepared to face the new threat.
Kakarot, you're just in time. This thing has gotten stronger with Broly.
We'll face it together! Broly, we won't let this darkness control you!
The three Saiyans stood in formation, ready to deal with the shadow creature fused with Broly. The intensity of the conflict increased even more with flashes of energy and clashes of fists echoing throughout the battlefield.
Come on, Kakarot, let's attack in unison and free Broly.
I got it, Vegeta! Together, we'll free him!
The Saiyans coordinated their attacks, launching a combined blast towards the shadow creature. Despite their efforts, Broly's dark possession was still resisting, fueled by the brute strength of the legendary Saiyan. Broly, under the influence of the shadow creature, unleashed an uncontrolled fury. His attacks were unpredictable and devastating, putting the Saiyans on the defensive. Goku, Vegeta, and the shadow creature continued to exchange energy blasts and powerful blows.
Vegeta, we must break that possession. We can't let Broly fall into darkness.
Roger that, Kakarot. Let's keep attacking together. Amidst the chaos of the battlefield, the fiery aura of the Saiyans lit up the sky, a visual manifestation of their mammoth power. Goku and Vegeta, feeling the weight of the battle, decided to take it a step further. They joined their energies in a symphony of power, a final bid to tear apart the shadows enveloping the evil presence. The shadow creature on the brink of the abyss responded with desperation. It raised its own power and the darkness churned with intensity as it struggled to resist the combined onslaught of the Saiyans. The clash of energies created a cataclysm of flashes and booms, shaking the battlefield to its core. At that critical moment, the energy explosion was unleashed with dazzling magnificence. The earth shook, and the shockwaves swept across the landscape, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, enveloped in the blanket of the explosion, were momentarily eclipsed by the blinding light and dancing shadow. When the shimmering luminosity faded, the Saiyans found themselves faced with a new scenario. On the ground lay Broly, his figure shrouded in a residual haze of the contest. The dark aura that had consumed him had finally dissipated. Stillness reigned on the battlefield. As the warriors approached with worried looks, the formidable warrior who now resisted, his power darkened, finally silenced.
We did it, Vegeta. Broly's free.
Yes, but this shadow creature's still a problem. We can't let our guard down. Vegeta nodded grimly as they watched Broly, who lay on the ground, slowly recovering from the intense battle. However, at that moment of apparent calm, the shadow creature, cunning and unnoticed, had left Broly's possession to seek a new host. The dark entity swiftly swept into the shadows, unnoticed by the Saiyans, who still assessing their companion's condition. Silently, the shadow creature crept towards Gohan, who had been watching the battle from a distance. Gohan, oblivious to the threat looming over him, felt a shiver run down his spine just as the shadow creature enveloped him with its dark presence. A momentary flash of its eyes indicated that something was terribly wrong. At that instant, Gohan, with a sudden alteration in his expression, went on guard without warning. His gaze, now posed by the shadow creature, glowed with a malevolence that contrasted with his gentle nature. Goku, noticing the sudden tension, turned towards Gohan, but before he could react, Gohan, under the influence of the shadow creature, moved with supernatural speed. The confrontation with Broly had left the Saiyans exhausted, and the shadow creature, seizing the opportunity, vanished into the darkness along with Gohan. Vegeta, realizing the situation, gritted his teeth in fury. The threat persisted, and now Gohan, a valuable ally, was in the hands of the shadows. Goku and Vegeta, despite their exhaustion, prepared for a new confrontation, aware that the battle had not yet come to an end. The tension in the air was palpable, as Goku and Vegeta, still worried about Broly, with determination, turned towards the place where the dark entity had vanished.
Damn it, where'd that thing go?
I don't know, Vegeta, but we must find it before it hurts Gohan.
The two Saiyans, quick as the wind, rushed towards where Gohan had been standing, their senses alert. The shadow creature, now inside Gohan, emerged from the shadows with a sinister laugh.
Ha 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 ha! Looks like they're not as cunning as they thought. Now I have a new toy for my plans. Get out of Gohan, you damn creature!
I'll not allow you to possess my son!
Ha! You think you could stop me? My power possesses even more of your combined forces. Do not underestimate the Saiyans. We have overcome greater challenges than you.
Leave Gohan and face your fate, creature. You'll not be victorious.
The shadow creature, now in control of Gohan, smiled malevolently before responding.
We'll see how long you can resist. Gohan is now an instrument of my will.
The shadow creature possessing Gohan unleashed a burst of dark energy that distorted the surrounding space. Goku and Vegeta suddenly found themselves during a chaotic confrontation, with Gohan now transformed into an instrument of the malevolent entity. The waves of energy radiating from Gohan's possessed figure created an ominous aura that filled the battlefield, defying the Saiyans' endurance and determination. The Saiyans, in their Super Saiyan Blue form, prepared for the impending clash. The shadow creature, using Gohan's body, moved with supernatural agility, dodging the Saiyans' first attacks with grace and malice. Gohan, his eyes now filled with darkness, lunged at Goku with astonishing speed. Goku blocked Gohan's first few blows with difficulty, feeling the enhanced strength and speed of his new controlled son. The fight was intense, each move charged with power and ferocity. Meanwhile, Vegeta positioned himself strategically, assessing the situation, looking for an opening to attack. The shadow creature, through Gohan, unleashed a flurry of attack, which devastating blows that kept Goku on the defensive. However, Goku's ability to adapt quickly to the battle allowed him to counter the attacks and counterattack with his own overwhelming power. Vegeta, sensing an opportunity, lunged at the shadow creature from an unexpected angle. However, the dark entity had sharp reflexes and deflected Vegeta's attack with ease, throwing Gohan against Goku as a distraction. The Shadow creature's strategy paid off, as it took advantage of the distraction to hit Vegeta with a beam of dark energy. Vegeta, although he resisted the impact, was momentarily weakened. The entity, now with a malevolent smile, turned to him.
Damn it! This isn't over, shadow creature.
Goku, reacting quickly, stepped between the shadow creature and Vegeta.
Vegeta, hold on! We can't let this thing divide us!
The shadow creature, enjoying the chaos at its zone, released a dark aura that enveloped both Saiyans. The dark energy sought to confuse and weaken their senses, however the Saiyans' instinctive connection to Ki enabled them to resist the dark influence. The battle raged in a frenzy of clashing colors and energies. Gohan, controlled by the shadow creature, moved with a mixture of speed and agility that defied the laws of physics. Goku and Vegeta, each focusing on their own battlefront, were trying to coordinate their attacks to free Gohan from the dark possession.
Gohan, fight this darkness! You're stronger than this!
Gohan, though showing flashes of resistance, was caught in an internal struggle between his will and the shadow creature's control. The battle grew more challenging. With each passing second, the shadow creature reveled in its ability to manipulate and corrupt one of Earth's mightiest warriors. Vegeta, recovering from the earlier onslaught, threw himself back into the fray. The shadow creature, however, anticipated his attack and gracefully dodged Vegeta's attempts to strike it. The dark entity counterattacked with a series of precise blows that forced Vegeta to retreat.
You damn shadow. Don't underestimate the Prince of the Saiyans.
Goku, seeing his partner's difficulty, raised his power to the maximum. Dazzling energy emanated from his Super Saiyan Blue form as he prepared for a concentrated attack. The shadow creature, noticing the glowing threat, diverted its attention to Goku.
Vegeta, keep up the pressure! I'm gonna concentrate my energy to free Gohan!
Vegeta nodded and increased his offensive, distracting the shadow creature as Goku concentrated his power. The fight reached a new level of intensity, with each move echoing across the vast battlefield. The energy collided, creating shockwaves that distorted reality itself. Goku, eyes glowing with determination, unleashed his most powerful attack. A sphere of glowing blue energy formed in his outstretched hands. Charged with the combined strength of the Saiyans, the spear grew in size and the power as Goku had held it in place.
It's time to free Gohan!
The shadow creature, realizing the threat, moved quickly to stop Goku's attack. Vegeta, taking advantage of the distraction, lunged with renewed fury, looking for an opening to attack. The battle reached its climax when Goku released the energy sphere, ascending it directly towards the shadow creature. The energy sphere burst into a dazzling flash, illuminating the battlefield with intense light. Shockwaves swept through the darkness as Goku's purifying energy sought to free Gohan from the shadow creature's possession. However, as the light faded and the earth stopped shaking, the shadow creature emerged seemingly unharmed. The dark entity, now irritated, turned to the Saiyans with a twisted laugh.
Is that all you can do? My power is unbreakable.
Goku and Vegeta, despite their exhaustion, prepared for the next assault. The battle, far from ending, dragged on into confrontation of epic proportions. Darkness and light collided in an endless clash, with the will of the Saiyans resisting against the entity that threatened to plunge them into the shadows. The dark creature, after resisting Goku's powerful attack, showed a malicious smile. A dark glow enveloped Gohan, and his body began to tremble with intensity. A guttural scream echoed through the air as the dark entity forced a unique transformation on the Saiyan warrior. Gohan, under the shadow creature's influence, contorted and his body was enveloped in a dark, feral energy. The earth trembled with the intensity of the transformation, and Gohan's figure began to change. Defined musculature, red eyes, a wild gaze, long gray hair, and emerging in the new form, Gohan Dark Beast. Vegeta and Goku, shocked by the unexpected evolution, instinctively recoiled from the overwhelming presence of Dark Gohan Beast. The shadow creature had accomplished what it could not do with Broly, unleash a unique and uncontrolled transformation on Gohan. Dark Beast Gohan, now freed from any hint of rationality, roared skyward, emitting an overwhelming energy that shook the battlefield. His eyes glowed with an animalistic intensity, and his posture indicated that human control was suppressed.
This can't be happening. What did that thing do?
The shadow creature managed to unlock something inside Gohan. This won't be easy.
The shadow creature, pleased with the success of its manipulation, watched the scene with satisfaction.
Now, witness my true power. The Saiyan Beast Warrior. How do you plan to stop him?
Dark Beast Gohan let out a deafening roar and lunged towards Vegeta with impressive speed. Dark Beast Gohan's attacks were ferociously savage, his brute strength and speed surpassing even Broly's most rampaging transformation. Vegeta, using his speed and agility, dodged Dark Beast Gohan's first attacks. However, the Saiyan Beast Warrior's ferocity was unpredictable, and Vegeta was forced to deploy all his skill to stay out of range of the devastating attacks. Goku, assessing the situation, transformed into Super Saiyan Blue and rushed to Vegeta's aid. The two Saiyans fought in tactical coordination, looking to open an opportunity to counter Gohan's savage new form. The battle became a whirlwind of energy, with explosions and crashes echoing across the battlefield. The shadow creature in the shadows continued to manipulate and fuel Dark Beast Gohan's fury. The Saiyan strategy was becoming more and more challenging as Dark Beast Gohan seemed to be one step ahead, anticipating their moves.
Damn it! Gohan Beast is too unpredictable.
We must find a way to free Gohan from this transformation. We can't let the shadow control his true power.
As the Saiyans faced Gohan Beast's fury, the shadow creature watched from the shadows, enjoying the chaos he had unleashed. The situation was becoming more critical with each passing moment, and the Saiyans' endurance was being tested in the face of Beast Gohan's uncontrollable fury. The battle raged on in a titanic struggle between light and darkness, with the hope of freeing Gohan from the influence of the shadow creature hanging in delicate balance. The Saiyans, determined to overcome this challenge, faced an enemy that had managed to unleash an even greater internal threat than before. While the intense battle raged on the battlefield, Piccolo, the Namekian sage, was immersed in his mental training somewhere secluded. His concentration was so deep that he could feel an abrupt shift in ki, a disturbance that reverberated through space and time. A shiver ran down his back, indicating the gravity of the situation.
Something's not right.
The Namekian instantly stood up, his cloak billowing as he focused on the direction of the glowing chaos. The power he felt was not just brute force. It was an amalgam of dark energies that seemed to defy the very essence of reality. Wasting no time, Piccolo prepared to approach this side of the conflict. Back on the battlefield, Goku and Vegeta fought valiantly against Dark Beast Gohan, who moved with uncontrollable ferocity under the influence of the shadow creature. The dark entity, sensing Piccolo's arrival, smirked.
Looks like we have a new guest. This just gets more interesting.
Goku and Vegeta focused on Gohan Beast, noticing Piccolo's presence as he appeared on the battlefield with a serenity that contrasted with the surrounding chaos.
What happened here? What have you done with Gohan? That shadow thing possessed Gohan and transformed it into a wild beast.
We can't free Gohan this way. The shadow creature manipulates his power in unimaginable ways.
Dark Beast Gohan, noticing Piccolo's arrival, turned to him with wild eyes. The shadow creature, enjoying the chaos, prepared for the next act of this heartbreaking play.
Welcome, Piccolo. You're just in time to witness the inevitable downfall of these Saiyans. Don't underestimate the Saiyans or my determination. I'm here to free Gohan.
The Namekian braced himself for the confrontation, deploying his ki with an intensity that made it clear he would not be a mere spectator in this battle. Dark Beast Gohan, fueled by the shadowy influence, roared and lunged towards Piccolo with a speed that defied all logic. The battle became even more chaotic with Piccolo's entrance. His movements were precise and calculated, contrasting with the wild ferocity of Dark Beast Gohan. Goku and Vegeta, aware of Piccolo's strategic skill, adjusted their approach to coordinate their attacks with the Namekian. Meanwhile, the shadow creature watched the battle with a Machiavellian smile, enjoying the confrontation between the forces of light and shadow. The dark entity was determined to prove that its influence was insurmountable. The fight unfolded in a whirlwind of colliding energies, with Piccolo demonstrating his tactical and strategic prowess. Dark Beast Gohan, however, remained a formidable challenge, his erratic movements and uncontrolled strength testing the tenacity of the warriors on the battlefield.
Goku, Vegeta, we need to plan to break the connection between Gohan and that shadow creature.
You're right, Piccolo. We need to attack from different fronts and destabilize that connection.
I'll take care of keeping Beast Gohan busy. Kakarot, you use the connection you have with your son to try to isolate the shadow creature.
Goku and Vegeta, coordinating their efforts with Piccolo's strategic expertise, went on the assault. Piccolo used his wisdom to be able to devise a way to get Dark Beast Gohan out of said possession, while Vegeta unleashed his fury with calculated attacks to keep the beast at bay. As the battle continued, the shadow creature began to feel the pressure of the combined strategy of the Saiyans and Piccolo. The connection between Gohan and the dark entity was under threat, and the shadow creature, despite its confidence, was beginning to show signs of concern. The battle was far from over, but the warriors' resilience was growing stronger in the face of the adversity that loomed over them. As Piccolo continued his mental struggle to free Gohan from the shadow creature's possession, his Namekian senses sharpened. Keen perception led him to identify a small shadow leech clinging to Dark Beast Gohan's lower neck, a detail that had not been evident in Broly's previous possession due to his long hair covering that region.
That's it. The key in this little shadow leech on his neck. We must eliminate it to free Gohan.
Piccolo's revelation attracted the attention of Vegeta and Goku on the physical battlefield. Vegeta, upon hearing this, turned his gaze to the back of Gohan Beast's dark neck and noticed the presence of the Shadow Leech.
A Shadow Leech? That explains why we couldn't free Broly this way.
How do we eliminate it without harming Gohan?
As Piccolo struggled to maintain his mental connection, he analyzed this situation and came up with a strategy.
If we attack the Shadow Leech directly, we might harm Gohan in the process. We need a precise way to eliminate it without endangering his life. So what's the plan, Piccolo? Goku, you've mastered Ultra Instinct, but you can only maintain it for a few seconds. We need to take advantage of those brief moments to distract Dark Beast Gohan and allow you to get close enough to destroy the Shadow Leech.
Understood, Piccolo. I'll do my best.
But how do we make sure Beast Gohan doesn't attack while Kakarot's approaching? That's the tricky part. We need to keep Gohan busy and distracted. Vegeta, your attacks must be precise and constant, keeping his attention on you. I will, but Kakarot, don't make me regret this.
The battle resumed with renowned intensity. Vegeta went on the offensive, attacking Gohan Dark Beast with a series of swift and powerful blows. Gohan responded with ferocity, but Vegeta maintained agile, dodging his attacks while keeping the savage Saiyan warrior's attention. At that moment, Goku concentrated, channeling Ultra Instinct. An aura of flickering energy surrounded him as he activated the powerful transformation. His speed increased exponentially, allowing him to easily dodge Dark Beast Gohan's attacks.
Now, Goku, now's your chance.
Goku in his Ultra Instinct state moved with superhuman speed towards Gohan's rear. The shadow creature, still focused on the fierce confrontation with Vegeta, did not notice Goku's approach.
This is my chance to end this!
With pinpoint accuracy, Goku reached out his hand and touched the small shadow leech on Gohan's neck. The leech, upon being touched by the Ultra Instinct energy, began to fade, emitting a dark screech before dissolving completely. Dark Beast Gohan, losing connection with the Shadow Leech, shook violently, as if releasing himself from a trance. Vegeta, noticing the change, cautiously stepped back as Goku returned to his normal state.
What happened?
Kakarot seems to have found a way to free you from that thing.
It was risky, but it worked.
Well done, Goku, but don't let your guard down. This shadow creature might have more tricks up its sleeve.
The immediate threat had been neutralized. The shadow creature, watching from the shadows, moving away unnoticed by the Saiyan warriors, was not about to give up.
So the shadow creature set out to return to its master.
Well, guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now, don't forget to leave your powerful like, Supreme God level, comment, and subscribe. Now, without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.